Hello and welcome to this live event. We've got our partners Easy for You here today, and we're going to talk about extending the classroom with one-to-one devices and Microsoft Teams. And today we've got myself from Cloud Design Box. We've got Darren, our COO. Hi, Darren.
Hi, Tony.
Hiya, how are you?
Very well, thank you. Excited about seeing this today.
Yeah, me too. And we've got Richard Harris, Head of Service from Easy for You. Hi, Richard. And we're really excited to see Richard's solution today. I don't know if he's just muted at the moment. I can't hear him.
Oh no, can you hear me now?
We can, yes, I can hear you.
Oh, you
Hi,
see,
Richard.
that's the beauty of technology. I've got one of these fancy headsets that if you put the thing up and put the thing down, it doesn't work. Lovely to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Nice to have you here, Richard.
Yeah, thanks, Richard. Yeah, really excited to hear about your solution for the devices shortly. So we've got a bit of an agenda for today. So we'll start off an introduction to both companies. So I'll give you a quick tour of what Cloud Design Box do. Then I'll hand over to Richard and he'll show you what Easy for You are working on currently. And then we're going to have a general chat about one-on-one devices and Microsoft Teams. And if you do have any questions, there's a little speech bubble in the top right. You can click on that, you can type your questions in, and we'll try our best to either answer them throughout the session or come to them at the end for any questions that you have. And we'll send out a recording. If you do have to jump out at any point, we'll send out a recording to all the registered attendees afterwards. So quick introduction to Cloud Design Box. We're Microsoft partners. We support over 450 schools in the UK and internationally. We specialise in Teams and SharePoint for education. And just a very quick summary of what we do. We create mat-wide intranet solutions. So it's a place where you can promote your vision and your values for your trust to everybody. And you can publish news and information, and it's a great communication tool to connect with all the different schools within your MAT. And we also create school sites for individual schools within a trust or standalone. And there's a school branded intranet sites where we automatically provision all of the subjects, the classes, the departments from the school MIS data. And we create that attractive intranet that holds everything together. And we also provide a lot of Teams integration for those class teams that get created. So we're linked to those centralized resource areas. We create student folders. We set up Viva connections. So even if you've adopted Teams really well in the school, we can still add all these features from SharePoint to the Teams environment.
And all those Teams integrations, Tony, that's really I think that the crux of the reason why you might need a one-to-one device, or certainly that all works better if you've got one-to-one devices, because there are so many bits of Teams and Class Notebook that work so much better if you've got your own device you can keep hold of. So that's why what Richard will be discussing later on makes so much sense to us.
Exactly, it works really well with one-to-one devices, and that's where we've seen many schools go recently. So yeah, really excited to hear about that soon. And yeah, just a couple of other things we do. So we also have our own portal where you can search students' assignments and get a good overview of how well assignments are being used across the entire school. We've got other teacher learning tools built into that as well, such as our class cover manager and our site creation tool for Teams and SharePoint. And we also provide training and user adoption. So Microsoft Global Training Partner, we've got CPD certified courses, so we can get all your staff up to date on the latest features in SharePoint and Teams. Now I'm going to hand you over to Richard, who's going to give us an introduction to the Easy for You solution.
Thanks so much, Tony. I assume you can all still hear me absolutely fine, which is
I can, yeah.
Good start. Let's share my screen and let's let you know about what Easy for You is. Okay, so look, really pleased to be here. Thanks so much to Tony and Darren for inviting us along today. My name's Richard. As Tony and Darren said, I'm the head of service for Easy for You here in the UK. We're part of a wider company called Class Technology Solutions, but we're part of a wider company called the Rent Company in the Netherlands and Belgium. And in the total, we run the Easy for You proposition in the UK. So really pleased to be here today. Just a bit about who we are. So as I said, we're a large company spanning across 3 different countries: the Netherlands, Belgium, and the UK. We're talking about the UK today, and our UK proposition is the Easy for You UK accessible and affordable digital education for everyone scheme that we run. And I think one of the key things to say first is that we have over 300,000 devices across those 3 countries. And that's from Dell Chromebooks, Dell Windows devices, Lenovo Windows devices, Microsoft Surfaces, all across the different product ranges that that any child in education using a one-to-one device could need. Basically, we support that digital education journey. Over 800,000 students use an Easy for You device across the whole territory. So really critical solution for education. Basically, what we wanted to do is really challenge that digital divide. We wanted to be part of the story of little Johnny going to school. We want them to have an Easy for You device. The trouble is that with a one-to-one scheme, how can schools afford it? And that's our mission. We want to make it affordable for everyone. Easy for You, as you'll see, is a funded scheme by us to provide digital education into one-to-one devices, into classrooms and into students' hands. And I think that's a really important part of it. It's a subscription service, and I'll go into more about that just throughout the call. One thing I think is really interesting is, as we said earlier in the call today, the need for one-to-one devices when you're using the cloud. So Microsoft Teams, Microsoft Teams exploded during the COVID pandemic, and it was very clear that some schools' infrastructure, for example, one-to-one devices, wasn't up to the scratch there. And that's why we think that our proposition really buttresses well with the Microsoft suite of products and what Cloud Design Box are doing with those. So, I'm really pleased to tell you about that today. Now, I want to take you to a story about laptop deliveries. Okay, so many one-to-one schemes, and there are loads out there. Most of them, if not all of them, ask you to enter into an operating lease, and then they just put the devices in your school. They deliver them on a pallet, and they go, "There you go. Here are your devices. Get on with it." Basically, we set the scheme up. We've done all of that. Now get on with it. That's not what we do here at Easy for You. It's all about the service that surrounds the proposition. So we have a dedicated UK service centre in the Gatwick area. And in that service centre, we unpack all the devices, we label all the devices. We configure the devices for you, whether that's on an image or whether that's on Endpoint Manager, Intune, or your chosen MDM solution. So we build those in our service centre for you. We service those devices, except for at no charge, as part of the service that we deliver, except if there's an excess there. So there's a real UK service centre who handle all of that for you. We've got customer service through telephone, mail, and chat during the working week. We've got a chatbot called Chip being released in the next few months as well, which is a direct link to parents to get the information they want as quickly as possible. We have an up to 5-year extended warranty with most devices, including damage, theft coverage, and it includes a loan device as well. We give each of our schools a loan device to give to their students. We do ordering through school-specific web shops. Our web shops are tailored to the school. You have your own devices on there, and it's a school web shop. We can apply subsidiaries and bursaries as well. So if you want to offer a discount to students and you want to pay a percentage of it, we can do that for you. There's a single point of contact within CTS. There's a chap called Sagar, who you'll see a LinkedIn, Sagar Malji. He's our head of UK services. He will run your account if you choose to partner with Easy for You, and there'll be a point of contact from an account management point of view and all invoicing queries through there. We have our own Easy for You portal. You can have access to that with delivery of devices to students on site. My team will come and hand those devices out to students as part of the service. And basically, it's our key for us to make sure that any device is imaged and integrated into the environment. It has to be accessible and affordable. So as I mentioned earlier in the call, the Easy for You subscription, what does it offer? So basically, you buy a device, but what do you get with it? Well, firstly, it's a rental and purchase. So rather than a pay monthly instalment, it's a rental instalment. So the end user, so that will be your student, can rent or purchase the device from our web shop. It's a direct, we take the school out of the equation. It's a direct parent to company relationship. So they can rent from us the device with a deposit, or just purchase the device outright with various levels of support in there. The damage and theft coverage is included. I had a laptop once where somebody bit a screen. We dealt with that through our insurance policies. Load devices. We have load devices on sites. If you as a school want to partner with us, you don't need to go through a tendering process or anything related to that. All you need to do is basically sign on the dotted line with us that you'll allow us to run your web shop and to procure your devices for you. And then we'll give you loans as part of that agreement. So it's non-contract, no contracts with us. The right service will be the right software will be pre-installed. And I think that's really key. Our technical teams and our service teams work with you to ensure those devices are built appropriately. For example, 365 at the forefront is what I would expect most devices on a Windows platform to have. As I said, there's that service and personal delivery on site. That's really key for us, is our service and personal delivery to the students. Our team will be there and hand those devices to students, directly into their hands, so they can have access to the digital device really quickly. And there's no credit score checks as well. We have from the poorest to the richest parents. We don't disqualify on credit, so we take the risk for you as a school. And I talk about that subscription. So you pick the device, you've got all of those bits in there, and it's selected specifically for education. It's an education-ready device. It includes the accidental damage and theft. It includes that loaner device. It includes that warranty and service, and it includes trusted accessories as well, for 24, 36, 48 or 60 months with a rental purchase. And it's really an all-in-one service. We really promote that with our customers. The whole service is all-encompassing, it's all-in-one, and it is really, the school needs to just agree to work with us, and then we'll do all the rest.
Richard, can I provide a question there?
Of course.
So I'm just thinking about that scenario, because you talked about the replacement service. So if
yes,
say you've got a student and they do, I don't know how that laptop got bit, by the way, if that was a Christmas party. That
you don't want to
know. But what happens quite often, you got pens still, and they get put in between the keyboard and the screen, and you just close the screen because you're in a hurry, and you just break the screen. If that was to happen, so completely accidental, there's no kind of malice involved in that, would that person need to wait for a machine to be shipped from Gatwick?
Absolutely not. No, absolutely not. Every school will have their own pool of loan devices, so we will issue pools of loan devices, and when they run out, we simply top them up as well. So all the student will need to do is go to their IT team or administration centre, depending on where the school wants to place these loaner devices, get their ticket logged on the system, saying that they need it shipped off to be repaired, and then they can instantly take a loaner from there as well. So it's a really critical part of our service. And I think, Darren, actually, alongside the teams element that you guys do, it's about never disrupting learning. You're never disrupting learning by the solutions you put in, and we're making sure that we're not disrupting that learning either by having that one-to-one device there continuously, because that's really important for us. That's our service.
Great. So presumably in that context, just talking about Office 365, you go, you swap out, you hand in your slightly broken machine, you get a new one straight away. It's probably already got power and stuff. And what you would just log into Office 365, so your Teams, your Word, your Excel, your OneDrive.
Pick up where you left off.
Wow, great.
Basically. And that's a real key part of our service, right? So if you go to another one-to-one provider, you're not gonna necessarily get that level of service, it's a really critical part, because we fund that, it's part of the subscription. So and if the devices have run out, if there's a high breakage, if there's a high amount of students stacking on the screens, then we'll have a pool of loan devices just sitting there waiting, and we'll keep shipping and we'll keep topping them up.
And Richard, I remember back in the day working in an IT department where we had to unpack laptops, we had to label them, we had to set them up. It took the whole of the summer holidays to do it. And I guess they're saving a huge amount of time by using this service.
Absolutely. Oh, we do it all for you. We do it all. Literally, it's, you know, we label the devices, we set them up, we clean them, we put them in the case. You know, we've even put students' timetables before on each of their own devices, just because that's what the school wanted. That's the level of personalised service that we offer to all of our customers.
Brilliant. This is a very IT question, but what about asset registers? If the school needs to maintain a register of which devices it's got and which numbers, is there any way to report on that?
So yeah, absolutely. So the assets are owned by the parent because it's a direct company to parent solution, but the school has a full portal access where they can basically see all of their Easy4U devices that are with a child, and they can have all the serial numbers and everything on there as well. Plus they can see the kind of tickets that are logged there as well. And if schools want to engage with us and, you know, meet one of our sales teams who will guide them through the process in, you know, perhaps directly to their situation, we could always arrange demos of that portal so they can see, you know, how, you know, what devices are in there and how the ticket system works and how the management system works. You know, it's pretty in depth. As I said, our Dutch and Belgian colleagues have been doing this for a number of years now, and it's a perfected system. And I think it's the best in the UK, but I would say that
it's growing though, isn't it? Because when I first heard about this from our mutual friend Sagar, there were a lot more in Holland, and a relatively small number. It's grown really quickly, hasn't it?
Oh, I mean, it's exploding. I mean, we've got a number of schools signed up this year. A number of schools moving from different providers to us because of our unique proposition and our offering. And it's that management level. You're absolutely right. It's the management level that really, you know, bites for school IT teams. And also we're in a difficult times with, you know, the way that our economy is and the cost of living crisis, and, you know, that scheme where we fund those laptops, you know, there's schools don't have to pay anything, is something that schools are saying, yes please, I'll have some of that, really, and they can offer it to their poorest of students.
Exactly. I was going to say I like that idea of the mix, because, you know, sometimes the parents can just afford to buy laptops. Depends what kind of school, what kind of area.
Absolutely.
Other times they really can't. And of course, you've also got differences. You will have, you know, I mean, it's not the only metric in town, but, you know, you could look at things like free school meals or where the People Premium sits. And you could maybe say, well, perhaps some parents might need some additional support, and there will be metrics that the schools can use to work that out. Do you have to do like the one thing, or can it mix up?
I'm going to rewind just for a second, because actually, you mentioned about Pupil Premium, which I think is a really good and sensible thing to say, because you know, the way that schools can look at this when working with us, they can subsidise this, right? So if they have a number of Pupil Premium students that they've got that pot of money that they want to invest in something for the students, what about a one-to-one device laptop? You know, if you've got students who have got a one-to-one device laptop across the board, but these students are struggling, why not fund a part of that through Easy4U subsidy and put that Pupil Premium money towards that?
I got to tell you, if you're an individual struggling with some of the SEN needs, you know, perhaps dyslexia, ASD, ADHD, having a laptop that's always there with you is really useful. And it's not just for IT lessons, because I think that's the misconception as well. Is, oh well, they don't do that much IT. One of the things that we like to do, because of what we provision in our product, and it's all Teams and stuff, the idea of having class notebook, you know, OneNote notebooks.
Oh, yeah,
but that's where you take your notes. You don't have bits of paper that you're going to lose, and, you know, you forget to take your book with you. As long as you've got that laptop with you, it has a number of tools. It's got a place where you can take notes, and those notes will stay with you forever. So if you come into a school at, you know, potentially in year 7, you'd keep not necessarily the same device, but you keep that same account and all those same notebooks all the way through to year 13. Some schools start really young. You might start, you know, in I don't know, year 1, and carry it all the way through to year 13. You've got those same notebooks. And the other thing is you've got something to help you all the time, because we use a lot of things like Immersive Reader, which obviously helps people read content. So that's all you have to do is get an electric version of that content, and the Immersive Reader will help you read it in lots of different ways, translate it into different languages. Perhaps if English isn't your first language and you're trying to learn English, but you need it sometimes to have some of the words translated into widgets, that kind of thing is available to those students all the time. And it's a real way of creating equality.
Oh, absolutely. And I think actually, Darren, I think that's a remarkable point, because the solutions you guys provide with the Microsoft tools, the learning accelerators and all of those really good stuff that they're doing at the moment with a one-to-one device, it makes it even more powerful. And schools listening to this should take note of this and realize that we're not asking you to invest in this, right? We're not asking you to say, to buy the devices from us and then sell them on to the students. We do it for you. Yeah. Or how powerful will it be for some of your most challenging of students to have access to those tools at their fingertips? And I think there's a lot to be said for that.
Yeah, and I think, obviously, sometimes it feels nice to have something. So if you are a school, you might think, or indeed a parent or an individual, you might think, but I want to have a laptop. I want to have a device. Yeah. Should I go down to my local PC vendor and just buy one there, and then that device is going to last me 3, maybe 4 years, but I don't know which one to buy. There's all these technical specs. I don't know what a RAM is. How many RAMs do I need? You hear people having those conversations, whereas these tools are dedicated for education. They've got the right amount of power. You've got lots of choices within that, presumably.
No, absolutely. No, absolutely. And from a choice point of view, we really work with schools on what's the best for them. So, when schools, put a new sales request in, and if you go to, you can either contact us through this webinar or, just jump onto our website. Easy for you to school and log a new sales request. The sales team led by Sagar, who, if you look at his journey on LinkedIn, it's remarkable. He's run these schemes in schools. He knows what he's talking about, and one of his team will guide you through the process, so guide you through what the right device is as well, right? So we do multiple vendors, and we can have multiple types of device on our web shops, and we guide you through the whole process as a school. But the thing I'd say to a school is, don't be daunted by it. It's a tool. It's a tool to use in the classroom. It's a tool for your students. And our team will kind of help you along the way, integrating with the Cloud Device products and Cloud Design Box products and the Microsoft tools and all of those kind of bits in one, really.
Yeah, the other thing I was just thinking, Richard, is that idea of different devices for different needs, because there are some devices presumably which are cheaper than others, and others that are more expensive. Correct. Just because they've got more. I'm thinking like my son now. He's in year 6. He's just about to transition to big school. At this point, the kind of machine he would need to do stuff, I think, would be fairly elementary. It'd be a bit of OneDrive, correct, maybe a little bit of OneNote, but nothing too powerful. Whereas I know that when he moves into, say, year 7, year 8, or certainly when he moves into Key Stage 4 and he starts doing media studies, he might need to jump to different machines at that point. Now, if you're a parent that's just spent quite a bit of money on a machine that you hope that's going to last you for the next 3 or 4 years, you might suddenly find yourself thinking, oh, actually, this device doesn't do me anymore. We need to switch him up to something better, increase his contract. Is that something that could be done?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So that's where the beauty of the rental is, right? So, and we work with our schools on what students in their school might need to do in the future. So I'll give you an example. I've got one school that I'm working with at the moment who are promoting Surface Goes until year 9, and then they're going for the BFS Surface Pros, year 10 and 11, depending on what their option subjects are. But if they rent, all they need to do is cancel the rental at the end of their time period, and move to another device. Move to another device that's on offer. And that's the beauty of rental, right? Is you can walk away from it. I don't want to say it's like a new car and you walk away from that, but it's relatively the same, where you basically could stand away and walk away from the rental at the end of the rental period and switch up to a bigger device.
That's right. It's not because you get that with cars, don't you? You get hire purchase, whereas
Correct.
you're kind of renting, but you kind of own a bit of it, but you've still got to pay for it, basically. But
Correct.
this is genuine kind of renting, leasing, where you have it for a period of time, and then you get to the end of that time, you give it back, and you switch to a new one.
Correct. Absolutely. Cool. Shall we move forward? Let's just move forward. I'm almost done with these. So effectively, when we hand the devices out, I think one of the things that I talk to schools about, and if it's that tool, which is in the, that tool that we were talking about, it's going to need a good case. So we offer a moisture resistant case with all of our devices. It comes as part of the package. So this is just our main blue case. And I wanted to, if I put my marketing hat on, one of the key things I like to see is these blue cases in as many hands as possible, right? So we offered these to, all of our students' devices going out.
They look pretty robust to me, Richard.
They are incredibly robust.
I don't want to challenge you on this, dropping stuff out a window or anything, but if you drop that off your desk, would that be okay? Mostly.
Oh, I think it would absolutely be fine, because their education devices and their education cases as well. It's all about an education ready device with what we offer, and that includes the casing around it as well. I think one of the things that I like to talk about when talking about our service is there are 3 ways if a school engage with us. We can enroll them into Intune and Endpoint Manager, and that's that enrollment part where we put all the devices down and put all the applications down, and we build them. Rather than the IT team doing that over the summer, we do that all for you in the service centre that we have. We can image them, where we basically can just image the devices with a chosen image that you give us. You can give us a WIM file if you're an IT techie, you know what they are. You give us an image file that we can put on there and work with you on making sure that that's right and in place. Or we could put our own image on. We've got a basic, we always update our images with basic Office devices, and that could go on as well. Or you could do out the box, right? You could just say to the student, you bought a device, here's your device, log in with your Microsoft account and away you go. But we support the Intune and Endpoint Manager for really. That's what I try and promote for all of our customers, because it's that management level. It's ensuring those applications are there, ensuring that you've got the right home pages there and the right URLs on the home page. That's a really key element of making this a success, and making sure that you've got your environment right is a key topic of success. And having Microsoft Teams at the forefront of that is even easier when deploying it out for Endpoint Manager.
Yeah, I think, Richard, one of the challenges that schools have is user adoption. So making it easier for students and teachers to be able to access things like Teams or assignments, what's happening in school. And actually, by having a device as that logged in, I guess they just log into the device and the messages are popping up. They're just ready to go.
And I think from our perspective, we take the Prosky way of looking at change, and it's the technical way. You make the technical changes, so using Endpoint Manager, and then we merge that with the user side. The change adoption, ensuring that students are aware of how to use their device, make sure everything's ready. So we're pretty keen and pretty when talking to our sales team on a one-on-one basis, this will probably be the second or third question they ask after what device do you want and what do you want to do with it in the classroom, because getting that right and developing that relationship for us is all key.
Yeah. I guess there's kind of a continuum, isn't there, about how much teachers or students are allowed to put on these devices. Some things need an admin.
So like a blueprint. It's like a blueprint, right? We ask our schools for a blueprint as part of the process when we start to work together. I briefly touched upon this earlier. We do an in-person delivery where basically an easy for you expert will bring your devices to school on the day that we agree with the school, and they'll be ready to go. The child will be matched with the device because they're all labelled, and we're on hand if needed to support any students with any of their device queries. And
that's a really exciting day when that happens, isn't it? I can just imagine being like an 11-year-old.
I've done these digital deliveries a number of times, and it's really cool to see the students line up and get excited about their new device. And and you know, some of them have bought a mouse, and then we have to, you know, they're excited about their mouse. No, not that old guys like us will be like, yeah, it's a mouse, but actually it's really good the students get excited about the mouse, about their headsets that they buy. It's a really exciting time for everyone. As part of our support, as I said, a dedicated account manager. You can see a lovely picture of my colleague Adrian there in the service centre. He's producing some devices for a particular school on Endpoint Manager. It's our support portal. It's our replacement devices on site at school. They sit on school at all times. We have access to a real person. It's a simple process to raise tickets, fast repairs and returns, and the most important thing is that zero downtime for students in the classroom, which goes hand in hand with those cloud design box solutions. And on that front, that's easy for you. I appreciate you letting me go through that, guys. And if you want to contact me, please do. It's rharris@easyforyou.school. Go to our website, easyforyou.school, and fill out the sales form if you want one of our sales team to contact you, or it's simply sales@easyforyou.school. And on that point, that's my presentation done, Darren and Tony.
Thanks, Richard. It's good. There's some videos out there in the world as well. I noticed on Sagar's LinkedIn there's a couple of really good, and when I say really good, I mean they're really good. I was blown away. There's a beautiful kind of in the day of a student with an Easy For You device. I would definitely try and see that if you can. I don't know if that's in other places. Is that just on YouTube or? Yeah.
What we could do is get that on when we send this video out. We'll get those links up there, and so we can send those out and put those into we'll put those on the links that we send out here, because I think they're really good videos, and particularly the Surface element. That a particular customer of ours, it shows all of our services and that interlink with the Teams and the Microsoft 365 solutions. At the core, it shows that in a really good way.
Beautiful.
That was really great, Richard. Thanks for that. I think that's a really good solution, and hopefully this has been useful to people. And like I say, Richard shared his contact details. You can also contact us, and we'll pass over your details as well. So our contact details are on the screen here. And yeah, thank you very much for your time today, Richard.
No, thank you so much, and thanks for having me both.
Great. Well, thanks everyone for attending, and like I say, feel free to get in contact with us or with Richard with any questions that you have, and we'll see you all again soon.
Thank you so much, everyone. Take care.